I think, it's really important to maybe discuss the different mantras that are in your book. Because you have chosen 9. First of all, why did you choose 9? What was that? Was that number symbolizing anything?
Well, in total honesty, there were tons of them, and I had to whittle them down based on what I thought the needs, interests, and concerns of the people were. So I had to I had to think about each of the people that were going to potentially pick this up and try and think about what do people struggle with the most. And the way I did that was I did a little survey and I asked people what you're most worried about, what's your needs in your life right now, what are your interests. And then I just scrolled through BBC News and Bloomberg and tried to find out where the world's at. And these are the 9
that was a
themes.
depressing sight, I imagine.
Yeah, it wasn't fun, but it helped me to whittle down into 9 key themes and try and associate particular mantras with those.
Okay, so I'm going to go for the chapter 1, which is the entry.
Yep.
And I think this is a really good title, Give Me Another Chance. Tell me the mantra behind that.
The mantra that I've chosen is one which is pronounced Narayan, Narayan. And the story behind it is of a fella who lived in ancient India, medieval India, and had an ideal life, wife, kids, etc., but fell in love with a woman of ill repute, a prostitute. And what preceded was a lifetime of drunken, animalistic living in which that person was very narcissistic, very keen on material, satisfaction, and comes to the end of his life, very, very old, and decided to name his last child Narayan because, some holy people came to his house and he was in a drunken state and he just agreed with them. Okay, fine. You think it's a good name? Yeah, okay, just give him that name. Whatever it is, just give it to him. And at the end of his life, he goes through this out-of-body experience where he's being pulled in different directions. And he calls out the name of his youngest son. And in that moment, everything becomes clear. And he gets another chance. So he gets another chance at living out the rest of his days. And that's all about getting a second chance. And I think that the relevance is, okay, that's the ancient story. But the truth of the matter is, I think each of us can think of something in our lives that we wish we had another chance at. And I think that we have a choice in that. I was once very close to crashing into some cows in America once. I was driving through a farm and really briskly driving, and I wasn't watching where I was going, and I almost crashed into this herd of cows. And my spiritual teacher was sitting next to me. I rolled down the window and did the very British thing. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And then I looked at him, he looked at me, he said, well, if you're really sorry, it means that you mean you're never going to do it again. And that's your second chance. And it's not always about self-deprecating, but it's about giving yourself the healthy opportunity to have another chance at life. And so this mantra is a sound vibration that encourages you to look at life with a fresh perspective.
With a different lens.
With a different lens.
I think, again, so much of this goes around hope, but also compassion. I know that the beginning of your book as well, I mean, obviously a lot of my work is based in self-compassion, is think of mantra as a compassionate cosmic friend. And I think that is a very powerful way to look at all of this. Is something else that I'm thinking about, that when you're reciting these words, it's very similar to, I guess, another mantra, which is an affirmation, if that's probably, as I've now understood how you're describing mantras, is giving yourself some type of conversation that you would a friend, a line that you would a friend, actually allows us to feel more at peace and comfortable rather than the self-critical lens that so many of us can have. And thinking about it from a physiological perspective, self-criticism does change our cells. It does lower our immune system. It does have a very bad impact on our health. It does heighten our stress hormones. So having these mantras that feel like I am accepted, I have another chance, I have forgiveness for myself, I imagine something, allows us to feel more calm.
Spot on. And like I said before, we've got playlists for that as well. We've got songs that we turn to when we need to feel like we need to have another. You might be listening to this as someone that's aiming to be a high achiever in life. Now, you can't have done that, or you can't have even aimed for that, or you can't be executing that without having made mistakes. So this meditation is an opportunity for you to hear a sound vibration, a frequency of sound, even like the composition of each of these letters in the mantra is understood from the Vedic science as being able to help you overcome just that. So these sound vibrations, they're not just the melody that you attach to it, but it's the composition of the letters as well. It's formed in such a way that it unlocks certain parts of our psyche, certain parts of our heart.